Hello fam, welcome back again to my channel. I'm so happy to be uploading this video today. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a bridal robe. Okay, we are going to be making the outer part of the robe, that is the two part, and in the next video I'm going to be showing you how to make the inner. Okay, so without wasting much time, I'd like to you guys to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure that you like this video. Please like the video and make sure that you share my video as well. So let's just get straight into this video. So I'm going to begin by measuring the width, okay, of 37, which I have already folded into two, and also the length of 63 inches. Okay, so after that I'm just going to go ahead and then place this fabric well. All right, so the table is too small for what I am doing. That is why I am working on the ground. Don't worry, the floor is perfectly neat. I've cleaned everywhere, so I'm okay to use the floor. So right now I'm just, tulle is some kind of fabric that is very difficult to handle. So I'm just pinning this in place. I've already folded my fabric into two, so I'm pinning this in place so that it will be quite easy to work with. Okay, so the next thing is to cut this down. Okay, so because I'm working with tulle, right, I'm not cutting right at where the other fabric is falling, because at the end of the day you might realize that the fabric is not even falling in the right place, or you've not folded this well. So by the time you realize, you will be short of fabric, and you don't want to be short of fabric. You always want to have excess that you can trim off. Okay, and you might want to cut more than the actual length that you need. I don't know if you understand, actual width, sorry, that you need. So right now I folded my fabric into four. Okay, because I'm going to be cutting both the front and then the back together, and the place that I am starting my measurement from is my center, front and back. So I am going to be placing my shoulder measurement, okay, plus 3 inches, because it's a drop shoulder bridal robe. Okay, so you not insert the sleeve right on the shoulder, but somewhere around your arm area. It's more like a kimono something. So what I'm doing right now is I have marked my shoulder line, and I have added extra 3 inches to the shoulder. Okay, so right now the next thing is to mark 3 inches for the neck width, and then for the back neck I am going to be marking 1 inches for the back neckline. Okay, so for the front, which I will be adjusting later, I'm just marking 4 inches for the front. Okay, so after marking, I'm just going to connect this to the width of the neck. Yes, just like that. And I'm also going to connect the back like so. Okay, so guys, after this, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be marking from the shoulder to my bust and then waist. Okay, so shoulder to the bust is 10 inches, and then to the waist is 16 inches. So that is what I've marked there. So on the bust line, I am going to be marking the bust measurement that I'm adding an ease, okay, of like 1.5 inches to the back, the bust, sorry, and then the waist I'm going to be marking the same thing, but I'm going to make sure that, because on the waistline we are going to be using a belt, okay, so you want that kind of gathering effect around the waist, so you might want to transfer the same bust measurement to the waist like I have done, or you might want to add more to the waist. Anyhow you want it, it is okay. There is no principle and that's because you're going to be using a belt and you want that kind of gathering effect around the waist area. Okay, so make sure that your tulle or your fabric is folded rightly before you start your marking. So right now I'm going to be dropping my shoulder by 2 inches. Okay, so I'm just dropping this and I'm going to connecting this to the nape of the neck like so. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do is we are going to be doing the sleeves like this, the arm opening right now. So I'm just coming out by 1 inch, and from where I dropped the shoulder, okay, I'm just going to be connecting it to where I dropped the shoulder. Now I want 7 inches for the opening, so I'm going to be coming up again by 1 inch, and I'm going to blend from there to meet the sleeve opening. Okay, so right now I'm just going in to perfect my line, and then yeah, so we're done for now. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to connect from the waist to the floor length of this dress. Okay, I'm going to be using my free hand because I want to take more of the fabric as I can. So as you can see, the more I'm going down, the more I am tapering it to the ends of the fabric. Sorry, the camera couldn't show the down part of this, but I connected it as much as I can closer to the tip of the fabric. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be trimming off the back neckline first. After that, I'm going to go on with cutting off the shoulder. All right, so at this point I realized that my two was kind of not aligned, my material was not aligned, so I wanted to align it well, align this very well before I continue with the cutting. Okay, so anytime you are cutting, make sure that everything is properly aligned before you go ahead and then trim it off or you cut it off. So I'm just doing that. I'm going to be cutting this right from the sleeve opening. Okay, so as you can see, I'm leaving kind of a 1/2 inch. That is, I'm going to be connecting that to the sleeve that I'll later create. So from the bottom part, I am just trimming it and working my way up. Okay, so guys, the next thing that I am going to do right now is I am going to remove the back piece, okay, before I trim off the neck line for the front. Okay, so just like I've done, I've separated the back, and then I'm going to trim off the front neckline. Okay, so I'm reminding you to please give me this video a thumbs up. I am going to be splitting the front into two, okay, right and the left. Okay, so I'm just separating the back panel from the front panel. So after that, I'm quickly going to arrange this and then do the splitting for the front. So guys, eyeballing this, I think I split up to somewhere the knee area. Okay, and then I'm going to continue from the sides. Okay, I'm going to taper it all the way, working my way to the upper part like so. Okay, so I'm just going to cut because I want the bottom part tapered, okay, just as you've seen in the picture. Okay, it's kind of rounded around the side, okay, all the way to the top. So after this, I'm now going to bring back the back panel and then set this aside so that we continue with the cutting process. Okay, so I'm just going to be matching my shoulder panels like so. So the back down, and then I'm going to match the front, okay, panels together. I'm going to be joining it around the shoulder like that. All right, so I'm going to be doing the same thing to this side, and I'm going to be pinning as I match it. It's always important to pin this down because tulle is not like other fabrics that you can work your way without pinning. Tulle is kind of, I don't know, but you have to always pin your tulle down so that you get an extraordinary finishing, that is a very neat finishing for your tulle. So I'm going to be sewing the sides as well, and so I'm matching the sides, and I'm going to be pinning that as well. Alright guys, so I'm going to move to my working table. So after joining the shoulder, alright, you are going to obviously be attaching your sleeves. So the next thing is to cut our sleeves. Okay, so I'm going to be measuring what I have. Okay, and remember it includes the seam allowances. Okay, so I'm going to be measuring what I have. Okay, and I have 8 inches. Okay, so by the time I sew half inches on both sides, it will be left with 7 inches for the sleeve. All right, so I'm going to align this well, and I'll fold this into 4. I'm cutting all the sleeves together. So the length of the sleeve that I want is 9.5 inches, but I'm going to be cutting 10.5 inches because definitely I will be joining and then hemming. Okay, so I'm going to be marking um 7.5 inches, okay, plus half inches for the sewing. Okay, so I'm going to be for the opening of the sleeve, I'm going to be using 5.5 inches, okay, for the opening of the sleeve, because I want 5 inches opening plus half inch for the sewing. So I'm going to connect the points together, and then I'm going to cut out. So that's all for the sleeve. Like I said, the sleeve is different because the shoulder is dropped. Okay, the shoulder is already dropped, so it's kind of different from the normal sleeve that you join to your shoulder. All right, this time around we've extended our shoulder, and so you just need to continue from there. Okay, so you don't need the sleeve cap and all that. So guys, this is it for the sleeve. We have to, so I'm going to set this aside and then start cutting for the ruffles. Okay, so I struggled a bit here, as you can see, before arriving at this. Okay, so with this I'm just going to measure out the width that I need. Okay, so right now I'm just going to measure the width. Okay, so I think 3 inches was okay. 3 inches was okay, but before that I'm smoothing out my rough ends. Okay, so that I get a very smooth strips for my ruffle. Okay, and I'm using my sharpest scissors. This scissors is really sharp, so anytime you are dealing with a tool or something that you will not be hemming, okay, you should use a sharper object to cut it so that after all the tool does not fray, okay, but you still need sharper scissors to make your work more neater. So as you can see, I'm going to be using the first one to cut the rest of it. So this is for my ruffles, in case you don't know, and if you stick by, you know what I'm going to be using this for. So I am cutting this all through, right? I'm going to be cutting this. I'm going to be cutting the rest, and also I have more fabric there that I'm going to be folding exactly this way and cut, okay. So someone will ask how many yards of fabric did you use for this? I used just 5 yards of fabric for this bridal robe, and so I have this, and then I'm bringing in more strips, okay, that we'll be using for the ruffles. All right, so the next thing is we get to our machine, and then I'm going to be starting with the shoulder. So I'm going to be joining the front to the back, okay. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm not going to be overlooking the rough ends, okay. So what I'm going to do is I want to hide the rough ends, though it's not really necessary. You can just sew on 1/2 inch, but I want to hide my rough end, so I'm folding it over more like I'm piping the seam allowance, okay. So I'm going to pipe it, I'm going to fold it over by 1/4 inch and 1/4 inch over again before I run my machine on, okay. So I'll zoom it for you guys to see what I am talking about in no time, okay. So once I'm done, I'll just trim off my threads, and you want to use a matching thread, okay. So I'm going to be joining the other part of the shoulder, and then once I'm done, I'm going to be attaching the sleeve to it, okay. So this is my sleeve right now. I'm going to be attaching this right sides facing each other, okay. Right sides facing each other. I'm going to be attaching my sleeve like so, okay. So I'm just matching my ends and then making sure that everything is aligning well before I join the sleeves. So I'm sewing on a 1/2 inch allowance, okay. So like I said, you might want to pin your tool, or you just be careful when you're sewing this. So like I did for the shoulder, I am also folding it over twice. I'm folding it over twice before I sew, okay. So I hope you can see what I'm doing. Let me try and bring the camera closer to what I am doing. Okay, so guys, after joining in my shoulder and the sleeves, okay, so the next thing I am going to do is I'm going to be altering the front neckline. So with just a free hand, I am trying to cut this out, okay. So I'm cutting to kind of remove that collar area from the front part, okay, just like I did. So what I'm going to be doing right now is I'm going to start my ruffles, okay. So I'm going to be ruffling this with my hands, okay, because I can't uh ruffle this single-handedly and then come back and place it on the bridal robe before I begin stitching into the bridal robe. It's going to be a lot of process which I want to avoid. So I'm just kind of packing the stripes in my hand, and I'm running the machine just in the middle of the uh, ruffles that I've created with my hands. Okay, so let me zoom in so that you guys see what I'm talking about. So you just pick your stripes and then you make sure that you put the middle, okay, right on top of the bridal rope. That is the edge of the bridal rope. So I'm beginning from the shoulder. All right, so I'm just adjusting my machine length, okay. So as I am done, I'm just, you see how I'm packing it. So I just kind of fold this, or should I say squeeze this, and make some ruffles, make it look like ruffles, and then I run my machine right through the middle. Okay, so you have to make sure that you eyeball this very well because it has to be equal. Okay, just like I'm doing. And also, one thing that you need to know is you need to be very patient when you are making these ruffles on the rope, because it takes a lot of patience. If you are not patient, you're not going to get what you want. Okay, so you try and be as consistent as possible, and you try and go at a slower pace, okay, so that you'll be able to get a very beautiful outcome. Doing so, I'm going to kind of speed up the process at some point, but I still want you guys to kind of get accustomed to how I am making the ruffles on the robe before I try and speed up the process. So it takes a lot of time. You need to make sure that how you ruffled it in the beginning is the same thing as you are doing now. Okay, so if you kind of pack 3 ruffles at a time, keep doing that, and then make sure that your fabric, that like the distance you're using is almost the same. Like you kind of eyeball, like I'm folding out every 2 inches, I'm going to create a ruffle. Every like 1 inch, I'm going to kind of fold a ruffle. So depending on how you want it, okay. So make sure that you kind of do this and you take all the time you need to do it. Okay, so it took me out about the whole day to finish this um raffle. Okay, so you should do that as well. It could take you a lesser day if you're kind of fast, but I really wanted to do this and get a very beautiful outcome, so it took me longer than expected. Okay, so no need to rush if you want a beautiful outcome of the dress. So one thing that you also need to know is before you join the sleeves and then the sides together, you need to also create some of the ruffles on the sleeve. Okay, so currently you do the ruffles on the sleeve, you do it on the other sleeve, and then you move to the neckline area all the way to the opening in the front, to the back seam, okay, to the back bottom part, all the way climbing your way up back to the neckline. All right, so just like it looks in this picture. So you can either begin from the right or the left. So what you need to do is you need to tackle one of the sides, okay, right? That is, if you are working your way from the left, you start with the left neckline, okay, all the way through to the back, okay, down to the right neckline, down to the bottom tapered ends at the right, okay, all the way to the back, that is the bottom side, working your way up to the tapered ends in the left, okay, of the front, climbing your way back all the way up to the left side of the neckline. Okay, so that is how you tackle this, and you create your ruffles on, and then you go back to your sleeves and then you do the same thing before you decide to join the sides panel together. Okay, so at this point, please don't forget to hit the like button. Make sure that you subscribe, turn on your bell notification so that you get notified anytime I have a new video on my channel. Thank you for sticking by till now. The struggle continues, so you need to carefully do this. The reason I am not cutting anything out of this video right now is because I want you guys to know how long it took for me to even finish the sleeves. Okay, yes, so I want you guys to know how long it took for me to finish the sleeves so that you don't do yours in a rush or in a haste. Okay, so guys, make sure that you create a backstage once you're done. All right, so we'll be moving to the sleeves, the next sleeve. Okay, but that one I'll be doing it quite faster. I'm going to time lapse you guys so that we kind of end this tutorial real quick. Okay, so I'm just basically looking for the other part of the sleeve, and I'm going to do this the same thing. Okay, so I'm just going to pick up my ruffle, that is my stripes that I'll be using for the ruffles. Okay, so I'm picking that up, and I'm, like I said, I'm putting you guys on a time lapse so that we will be fast. Okay, so just fold, or you crumple, you squeeze, whatever you can do to make it look like a ruffle. Do whatever you can to make it look like a ruffle, and then work your way through to the end. So as you can see, you're in a time lapse, and I'm almost done with the bridal robe. That is the outer part of the bridal robe. And guys, this is how it looks. It looks really beautiful. The outcome was just on point. The next tutorial will be the inner and the belt. Okay, so keep your subscription coming in. Don't forget to like, share, and give this video a thumbs up.